Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and in this video we're reviewing Glee Season 5, Episode 10, previously unaired Christmas. You could technically call this a Season 4 episode, but it was in Season 5, and let me just say that this was probably the funniest episode of Glee I have ever seen. I was non-stop laughing for a lot of the episode. It was absolutely hilarious, and it was intentionally funny. Basically, the whole point of this episode is to be offensive. Because the whole point of this episode is that there was a Christmas episode that none of this is true. They just made this up basically so they could do a Christmas episode this year. There was this Christmas episode that was made up basically to, it was made to last year, but they banned it because it was so offensive. And so they aired Glee Actually in its place, which is why Glee Actually felt so rushed and everything, which, to be honest with you, I did not like last year's Christmas episode at all. I didn't think it was that good of a Christmas episode. I didn't like the, Love Actually format. I thought it was stupid, and I just was not a fan of it. So when I heard they were doing this, I'm like, okay, this is kind of more of what I wanted to see in these last few episodes. And let me just talk about the other Christmas episodes for a second here. Season 2's Christmas episode of Very Glee Christmas, I love that episode. I think it's a very cute episode. It's got some really great scenes, and it's got some great messages, some great morals, and I like a lot of the scenes in that episode. The only thing that threw me off is that the best song on that Christmas album, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, was not included in that episode, which is the only reason why why it's not my favorite of them. My favorite of the ones leading up to this was Extraordinary Merry Christmas. I know a lot of people hate that one, but I just thought it was a really fun episode. I like the use of black and white. I thought it was cute. I thought it was really funny, and I really enjoyed that episode a lot. Last year's I didn't enjoy. This one, by far, is probably the best one they've done, because pretty much all I want out of a Glee Christmas episode is just for it to be a fun episode. That's what I wanted this to be. I wanted to have fun with this episode. I wanted to laugh in this episode. I just wanted to enjoy it. I didn't care about character development. I didn't care about any of that stuff. But we did get a little bit of that. And I really love this episode. And let me just say, they should have aired this episode last year as their Christmas episode instead of the one they aired. Now, I know it wouldn't have worked for, reasons with the storylines. And, they lost at sectionals. This is kind of like a what-if episode. Like, what if they didn't lose at sectionals last year? What if they were still very popular and everything? What would have happened if they wouldn't have lost? What would have happened if Mr. Shu didn't go on that sabbatical? If Will had not gone on that sabbatical, things like that. And I really enjoyed seeing that a lot. It was basically a what-if episode, and I really enjoyed that. But I just feel like they should have aired this episode in its place, because this episode was so much better than last year's. And it's better than a lot of this season has been. This season has been good for the most part, but this episode was just fantastic. It was hilarious. And one of the things that I loved is that they focused a lot more on New York than they did with New Directions. They focused on New Directions, but they also focused a lot on New York, which I really liked. By the way, all the songs this episode I really enjoyed. I thought all of them were very well performed, and they were very great, and they were just a lot of fun. I enjoyed a lot of the songs in this episode. I enjoyed all of them. I thought they were all great. But the first thing I want to talk about is New York. I think New York was probably the funniest part of this episode. This is some of the funniest stuff I have ever seen in Glee. Now, I know some people are saying it was a little too offensive and they took it a little too far. That's the whole point. The reason this episode was supposedly banned is because of this whole plot. Think about it. It's really silly, but it does make a lot of sense, and I actually really enjoyed it. I just thought it was really funny, and it was just fun to see this. Basically, Santana is visiting Kurt and Rachel in New York. She's just there to surprise them. She's there for a Christmas vacation, and Rachel gets them all jobs as mall Santas. Now, they could have done this year had it not been for them stretching out the season, the school year. If they wouldn't have done that, then they could have done this episode this year, and it still would have been great, probably. Although not all of it, and there are some stuff that they'd have to fix. But pretty much what happens is she gets some jobs there, and they all work as mall Santas, but they end up getting attacked by this random group of kids. And Santana goes away for a little while to chill out and everything, just take a little break. She's tired of being dressed, as she said it, a slutty elf. They're not mall Santas, they're elves. Yeah, they're elves and everything, and pretty much, sorry, my mother was talking, and pretty much what happens is, that, they work there, and Santana goes away for a little while to, just get a little break time from that, and it turns out that, Santa has passed out on the ground. He's drunk, he vomited all over the place, and they're in very big trouble. I thought this whole scene was hilarious. They decided to get Santana to be, Mrs. Claus, and it was really funny when Kurt was saying how, well, Santa had a little full, and then Rachel's like, but Mrs. Claus has been secretly doing all the work. I thought that was really funny. The way we're explaining this to kids was hilarious, and Santana is just not in the mood to do this at all. She's really not. She's saying the most offensive things to these kids. Honestly, though, why was that so offensive? Santana has always been offensive, and it's not like this is something we haven't seen before. Half of Santana's comments are always offensive, but that's what makes her so funny. She just tells it like it is. And I think she was just in such a bad mood that she said some really mean stuff to them. Like, there was this one Jewish kid who didn't want to sit on Santa's, who she didn't let sit on Santa's lap. She's like, oh, wait, hold on a minute. You're a little Jewish there. And then I love the part where she's like, you look a little like Britney S. Pierce, and she tried to tell her all about her breakup and everything. That was hilarious. I thought that was great. So that ends up happening, but then they see this guy, Cody, who, is like more like a stripper type of Santa, and, they all, like, fall for him, and they all think he's, like, really attractive and everything, so he invites himself over for dinner. But then when he gets there for dinner, and this is just hilarious, they're all singing the Chipmunk song. He decides to have them all sing the Chipmunk song, and before Kurt and Rachel know it, Rachel and Santana know it, Kurt is making out with this guy. He's totally making out with him, he's flirting with him, and it's pretty crazy. I actually thought this was really funny because Kurt was drunk. Guys, you guys need to remember that. Kurt was super drunk in this scene. Rachel, Santana, and Kurt are supposed to be super, super drunk in this scene, and that is why Kurt just made out with this guy. If Kurt was normal, he would not have done this, because Kurt doesn't really like to have one-night stands and everything. He enjoyed it with Blaine, but he didn't enjoy it with, I think if he wasn't drunk, he wouldn't have enjoyed it. I think it was just because he was so drunk. And, pretty much what happens is then they all wake up the night after, and, also we find out that Cody's bisexual, so that was funny to see. That was definitely interesting. And then we find out that basically this guy has stolen all their stuff. He's tied up Kurt. He tried to basically, rape Kurt and everything, and, he's stolen all their stuff, and they don't know what else to do. So, I thought that was actually really funny that he just stole all their stuff, and I thought that was definitely really funny. And, it turns out, though, that what ends up happening is that they decide to, they're talking and everything, and, Kurt kept saying how he's newly single and everything, and Rachel decides to get them a safer job, performing in, like, a glass house, basically singing away in a manger. And, that's how their plot ended. And I thought their plot was hilarious. It was probably the best part of the episode. It was just so, so funny. There were so many funny parts, and that was basically just in a nutshell what it was. And it was just really, really funny. Now, the other plot had to do with the Virgin Mary. Now, this was really funny as well. Pretty much it's all about who's going to be the Virgin Mary in this living nativity scene. And Kitty intensely says to Marley she does not want to do it, but Marley can see there's something else is going on. And I love the scene between Marley and Kitty when Kitty is insulting Marley, and Marley comes back at her and says, well, you wear a smaller bra than I do. And I thought that was hilarious because we never really get to see Marley so mean to Kitty, and that was great to see. And you know what, if they would have aired this episode, we would have got some big character development for Kitty, because we find out later in the episode that the real reason Kitty said no is because Marley's a good, well-valued girl, and Kitty is a very Christian girl, but she is nothing like Marley, and she does not think she would make a good Virgin Mary. She doesn't think that she could ever be the Virgin Mary because she's nothing like a good Christian girl should be. And I really like seeing it because at the point in this show, we had just seen Kitty as a bitch the whole season, so this episode really given us time to see her, that she does have a soul, and she does really care, and she has a reason for doing all of this. And I really like seeing that. So that was definitely really great. And in the end, basically, Marley and everyone decided to give her a reason to perform the song. So they make Unique sing Love Child, which is really, really funny in my opinion. I really love that. And it was just really offensive, and it was supposed to be, because they're basically trying to push Kitty over her breaking point. So Kitty basically says, I should play the Virgin Mary, and they said, congratulations, you already got it. So it ends with them performing Away in a Manger, and I thought that was really great because we got to see all this character development in Kitty, and I just really liked seeing that in this episode. I thought that was really great. That plot was also a lot of fun. Now, the only other thing is the Sam, Tina, and Becky stuff. There was this contest, basically, for a Going Green tree theme, and Becky really wanted to win, but the Glee Club ends up winning, and Sam and Tina actually feel bad for Becky, so they basically make it sound like that they were the runners-up and that Becky actually won. And I thought that was sweet of them to do. I definitely enjoyed that, and I enjoyed that they did that for her, so that was great. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's the best Christmas episode they've done, because one of the things that they got right in this episode was that it was hilarious. That's not really something they've done in the other ones. The first one, it was sweet and touching and everything. It was kind of cheesy, though. The second one was super cheesy, but I really loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. Last year's was extremely just unnecessary and cheesy, and I did not really like it at all. This one, though, was super funny, and I think it's probably the funniest episode I've ever seen of this show, by far. I think it was just that funny. It was just so many funny scenes, so many funny lines, and I just loved every minute of this episode. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Did you think this was a necessary episode? I know why some people don't like it. They think it wasn't necessary. In my opinion, though, this was basically the writer's apology for writing a terrible Christmas episode last year. And it wasn't all terrible. I mean, the Kurt and Blaine stuff I liked from last year. And it seemed like Clainers are very upset about this episode, because supposedly Kurt can't be with anybody else except Blaine. They were not dating at the time. They were broken up at this time, so he can do whatever he wants to do. And honestly, I think it was funny to see that, because we kind of got to see a different side of Kurt in this episode, which I like seeing. And again, this is an alternate universe. None of this happened. It was all fake. It was supposed to be offensive. And that was great, but I still think they should have aired this Christmas episode in its place last year, because it would have been great to see. That's it for my review, though. I hope you enjoyed it. And so Glee is going to Tuesdays at 8 o'clock, as I've said before. What's going to happen? Am I going to watch Glee live? I'm still planning on watching Glee live, but as far as the original, but I'm probably might not be able to, because the originals and Pretty Little Liars are both on in that time. I don't know if either of those will go on hiatus before then, but I definitely do want to continue to watch, because I think it's gonna get really, really good, and this episode was great, but we'll have to see. But did you think this episode was necessary? What was your favorite song from it? Honestly, when I first heard the Chipmunk song, I didn't like it, but I thought it was really funny in the episode. And that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye!